I showed up for Christmas, but Mom said, sorry, I think you have the wrong house. Shocked, I left. Minutes later, my brother called. Don't be upset, but you know we couldn't let you in. I replied, understood. He forgot to hang up. He still thinks helping with rent means he's automatically included. I canceled rent, blocked cards, and by morning there were 61 missed calls. I was shivering on the doorstep, my breath misting in the icy air, fingers numb even inside my gloves. I knocked once, then rang the bell. Christmas lights twinkled from the windows. Laughter spilled out like warm honey, muffled but unmistakable. My mother's shadow flickered behind the glass, and a second later the door swung open. Sorry, I think you have the wrong house, she said, her voice smooth, her face calm. I blinked. Mom, what are you talking about? Her expression didn't change. I'm sorry, I don't recognize you. Are you serious? It's me. It's... The door clicked shut. No slamming, just a firm, final shut. I stood there, the cold biting through my coat, the sting reaching somewhere deeper. For a moment, I thought it was a joke, some cruel, twisted prank. But then I heard it. The muffled laughter, the clinking of glasses, the warmth of family cheer bleeding through the walls. I stumbled back, turned to leave, but my phone buzzed in my pocket. My brother's name flashed on the screen. I answered, my voice tight. Don't be upset, he began, his tone somewhere between pity and irritation. But you know we couldn't let you in. What? I whispered, still staring at the glowing windows, my vision blurring. You know how things are, okay? It's complicated. Just please don't make a scene. A scene? My voice cracked, and I heard someone's muffled voice in the background. He still thinks helping with rent means he's automatically included. Silence. Cold, crushing silence. I hung up without another word. My breath came in short, angry bursts, clouding the freezing air. I stood by my car, staring at the house I had helped save last year when Dad was behind on the mortgage, the house where I'd covered utilities, groceries, even Christmas gifts when Mom's budget was tight and they shut me out. Not just shut me out, acted like I didn't exist. My hands were steady as I unlocked my phone. I tapped the banking app, thumb hovering just a second before I started. First, the automatic transfer for their rent canceled. Next, the joint account where I sent money for emergencies gone. The secondary card I'd given my brother to help with gas blocked. Each click felt like a door slamming shut. I didn't feel a single flicker of guilt, only a cold, clear sense of finality. By the time I drove away, my phone was vibrating like a heartbeat. The screen lighting up with call after call. Mom, Dee, Dad, my brother, even my aunt probably thinking I was overreacting. But I didn't answer. I didn't even look. By morning, I had 61 missed calls, and I felt nothing. I wasn't always the outsider. For most of my life, I was the fix-it kid, the one who stepped in whenever there was a crisis. When Dad's job was restructured 3 years ago, it was my paycheck that kept the house from slipping into foreclosure. When Mom's emergency dental surgery came up, it was my car they swiped. My brother Adam, barely out of college, was always figuring things out, but I never complained, because that's what family did, right? You helped, and I was good at helping. I got a steady job straight out of college, climbed the ladder fast. While they called it luck, I called it skipping nights out, eating instant noodles and living in a shoebox apartment for years. But none of that mattered, because whenever they needed something, I was the one they called Jacob. Honey, we're a little behind on the electric bill. Can you help? Adam's having a hard time. Could you just spot him for gas? Sweetheart, your father's been so stressed. Could you help with the mortgage? Just for a bit? A bit. Months turned to years. I became the silent safety net, invisible until needed. I still remember the first time I thought it was strange. Thanksgiving last year. I'd covered the entire dinner, the roast, the pies, even the overpriced bottle of wine Dad insisted on. But when it was time for the family photo, they shuffled me off to the side, told me to take the picture. Come on, Jake, Mom said, waving me back. Just wanted the family. I laughed it off. A little jab, a misunderstanding, that's all. But the little things started piling up. Adam got a brand new SUV for his birthday, a gift from our parents. When I asked why I never got anything close to that, Mom chuckled. Oh, Jake, you never needed anything. You're so independent. Independent. The polite word for alone. I'd tried telling myself it didn't matter. I was the older brother, the reliable one. But then came the whispers. The little jokes that twisted like a knife. He thinks paying a few bills makes him part of the family. He's always throwing money around, but what else does he have? But the worst was Mom. Always there with a smile and a quiet, calculated cruelty. You know, Adam has such a bright future. If only you could be a little more supportive. Of him, supportive. I paid his student loans. I covered his rent. When he quit his job to find himself, I even co-signed his credit card because he needed to build his credit. And when I tried to pull back, when I mentioned how tight my own finances were getting, Mom's voice would lower, soft and disappointed. Family is about sacrifice, Jacob. We were always there for you. There for me. I thought of my 27th birthday, the one they all forgot. I thought of the hospital bill I paid when Dad slipped on the icy porch, how they didn't even tell me he was better until 2 weeks later. I thought of the time I had to cancel a trip with friends because Adam called me, crying about needing help with rent again. But that Christmas night, standing in the cold, staring at the door they shut in my face, something changed. I wasn't their son. I was their sponsor. I remembered how last summer I paid for the roof repairs because the house was practically falling apart. I remembered how I'd slipped a $500 check into Mom's purse just to help out. And I remembered Adam's face at his birthday party, the one I paid for, beaming Mom, hugging him and saying, "We're so proud of you." Proud of what? His ability to leech off me. He still thinks helping with rent means he's automatically included. I sat in my tiny apartment, the blinking lights of my barely decorated Christmas tree mocking me. My phone kept buzzing with their mom. "Jacob, please pick up, it's Christmas." Adam, "Dude, stop being dramatic. Let's talk." Dad, "You know your mother is upset. Call her." But the words never changed. No apologies, no acknowledgement. Just commands like always. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. How many years? How many times had I been the invisible lifeline, the silent sponsor of their picture-perfect family? The next morning I called the bank, canceled the automatic transfers. My name was pulled from the joint account I'd set up for emergencies. Mom's credit card, the one I co-signed, gone. The gas card Adam used in case of job interviews, blocked. Then I called the landlord, the one who managed the house they rented. A quiet, simple call. "Yes, I'm calling to update the account. Rent will no longer be paid from my account." I didn't leave a note. No explanation, just a cold, clean cut. I made coffee, watched the snow pile up outside. My phone kept buzzing, missed calls piling up, but I didn't answer. I didn't even watch. And for the first time in years, I felt something warm under the cold. Not guilt, not regret, but freedom. It took less than 24 hours for the explosion. The first call I picked up was my mother's, her voice already sharpened to a frantic edge. "Jacob, what did you do? The rent's not paid. The card isn't working." "Did you?" "I did," I interrupted, my voice calm, almost bored. "You can't just do this," she shrieked. "Your brother needs that card for gas. We need the rent covered. Your father is." "I don't care," I said. Silence for the first time. She had nothing to say. I could almost picture her standing there, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. "Jacob," she whispered, the panic giving way to something colder. "You're being incredibly selfish." "Selfish?" I laughed, the sound sharp enough to sting. "Was it selfish when I paid your electric bill last month? When I covered Dad's prescription because his insurance didn't work? Was it selfish when I paid for Adam's entire graduation trip?" "That was a gift," she snapped, the warmth gone, replaced with the ice of accusation. "A gift is something you give freely, not something you demand. You know how hard it is for your brother. Not everyone's as comfortable as you are." "Comfortable?" I laughed again, this time louder. "Is that what you call it? Working 60-hour weeks while he plays video games? Watching you shower him with praise for his potential while I'm nothing more than a walking ATM? You need to calm down," she snapped. The words clipped and sharp. "Family is about sacrifice." "Then sacrifice something," I shouted, and the words were out before I could stop them. "Sacrifice that new SUV you got, Dad. Sacrifice the vacations you keep posting about. Sacrifice Adam's struggle and tell him to get a job." There was a hiss on the other end, a sharp intake of breath. "I don't recognize you anymore, Jacob. You're being cruel." "No, Mom, I'm being clear." I let the silence hang for a second. "Then I'm done." I hung up. The next call came from Adam, his voice quieter but just as venomous. "Bro, what is wrong with you? Mom's crying. Dad's freaking out. You just, you just cut us off? Yes. Dude, you can't just do that. We're family. No, we're not. Not anymore. Are you serious right now? His voice froze, the fake shock barely masking the fury. All this because of some money? You've lost it because of money? I hissed. You mean the money I've spent paying your rent? Your credit card? Your stupid streaming subscriptions? Or maybe you mean the money I used to keep the lights on at Mom and Dad's house because they were too busy pretending to be upper class to pay their bills. You're such a no. I'm awake. I finally see it. You think I'm just the guy you call when the world's falling apart. But I'm not. Not anymore. You're being dramatic, he spat. But I heard it, the fear beneath the anger. You're really going to ruin Christmas over this? Christmas? I laughed again. Was I even invited to Christmas? Or was I just the one expected to pay for it? I can't believe you. You don't have to. I was done. I was free. And then came the group text. The nuclear option. Mom, family meeting. Now. Everyone come to the house. I thought about ignoring it. About staying in my warm, quiet apartment, letting them scream into the void. But a dark, cold fury was already pulsing in my veins, so I grabbed my coat, locked the door, and drove. The house was lit up like a postcard, warm light spilling from the windows, the wreath on the door twisted in fake holly and gold ribbon. I stepped inside without knocking. They were all Mom, her face blotchy and tears streaked. Dad pacing by the fireplace, his fist clenched. Adam Smith slouched on the couch, his phone glowing in his hands. Finally, Mom cried, rushing toward me. Jacob, this has gone too far. We're family. We don't just turn our backs on each other. You did. The room froze. I saw the shock in her eyes, the way Dad's pacing stopped. Even Adam looked up, his mouth falling open. You did. The moment you closed that door on me, the moment you shut me out, laughed about me behind my back, the moment you decided that I was nothing but a wallet to you. That's not true. Mom gasped. You're a son. Am I? I stepped forward, feeling the heat in my chest, burning through the cold. Because I was here when you needed rent, when you needed the roof fixed, when Dad needed his car repaired. But Christmas? I was nothing. Not even a knock on the door. Just shut out. Jacob, you don't understand, Dad began, his voice low, almost pleading. Then explain it to me, Blaine. He glanced at Mom, then at Adam. No one spoke. Exactly. I turned to leave. Wait. Mom's voice was sharp, desperate. You can't just leave. We're family. Family means sacrifice, I cut in. Then start sacrificing. Because I'm done. Adam jumped up, his face red. Oh, so what? You're going to take your money and run? Go cry in your fancy apartment while we suffer? Suffer? I laughed in his face. You're 24 and still living off your parents. You're not suffering. You're freeloading. Enough. Dad's voice boomed. Jacob, we can fix this. Just come back. Help out like you always do. No. Mom's face twisted, her voice breaking. Jacob, please. We're your family. We love you. I looked at her, at Dad's stunned silence, at Adam's twisted scowl. I felt nothing. Nothing but cold, clear certainty. Love, I whispered. You love my money. But me? I was just convenient. And then I turned, walked out the door, and left them standing in the glow of their perfect warm house. The cold bit at my face, but it felt like freedom. My phone buzzed and I let it ring until the screen went dark and the road stretched ahead of me, clear and quiet. My phone was a storm. Calls, texts, voicemail after voicemail, a relentless flood. But I didn't answer. I didn't even look. Mom's messages shifted from pleading to guilt-tripping in a Jacob, please. We're your family. How could you do this to us? Your father is sick from the stress. Is that what you wanted? Adam was less dramatic, but no less furious. Seriously, you just abandoned us. You ruined everything. Do you even understand what you've done? But the real chaos began 3 days later, when they showed up at my door. Mom's face was blotchy, her eyes red and swollen. Dad loomed behind her, stiff and sullen, his hands shoved deep into his coat pockets. We need to talk, Mom demanded, pushing forward. But I blocked the doorway. No, we don't. What do you mean we don't? Dad's voice was low, but the threat was there, simmering. You've turned our lives upside down. Canceled cards, stopped the rent payments. Are you out of your mind? I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed out of my mind for finally saying no. This isn't just about you. Jacob, Mom's voice broke, the tears coming instantly. We're your family. Your father's health is on the line. That's on you, I said, voice steady. It's always been on you. Listen to yourself, Dad snapped, stepping forward. You're throwing a tantrum over a misunderstanding. This is your home, your family. You shut me out, I shot back. I showed up for Christmas and you closed the door in my face. I paid your rent, your utilities. I kept this family afloat and you treated me like an outsider. Jacob, you're being dramatic, Mom whispered, but her voice shook. Am I? I leaned in, cold fury burning beneath my calm. What did I get in return? Insults behind my back? A brother who thinks I'm nothing but a wallet? Parents who smile at me when they need something and turn away the second I'm not useful? That's not true. Mom's voice wavered, but I saw the flicker of guilt. Oh, it's true. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through the messages until I found the one. The one I'd heard through the door that night. I tapped play and Adam's voice crackled to life. He still thinks helping with rent means he's automatically included. Silence. My mother's face drained of color. Dad's jaw clenched, his eyes shifting to Adam. I didn't mean it like that, Adam blurted, stepping forward. Come on, Jake. You know I was just being honest, I interrupted. Saying what you all think. That's not fair, Mom whispered, tears streaming now. We love you. No, you love what I can do for you. Dad's calm broke his voice, a low growl. Enough of this. You're acting like a spoiled child. You think you're better than us because you have some money? No. I think I deserve respect, but I'll settle for peace. Peace? Dad laughed, but it was a desperate, hollow sound. Cutting off your family isn't peace. It's cruelty. Cruelty? My voice rose, and for the first time I didn't hold back. Cruelty is using someone over and over, making them feel like they owe you just for existing. Cruelty is laughing at me, calling me a fool for caring. Jacob.